Good morning, everyone. I'm Ann Holmes Davis. I'm Vice President of Planning and Program Development at the Detroit Area Agency on Aging. And I'm pleased to have you on this technical assistance workshop call for our inclusive healthcare call for proposals. With me today are a team of devoted DAAA team members who are supporting this effort. We have Anquinetta Jones. She is our telehealth manager. Ryan Michael, our planner on staff. Frederick Thomas, our project manager. Helen Love, who works with our communications and public relations team. And also Chris Todd, our IT manager. So thanks for joining us. Just would like to note that this particular technical assistance workshop will be recorded so they can be posted on our website. Today, I would like to basically walk through the call for proposal and the letters of intent. I will take a little time to just share the background about the project, the purpose of the letters of intent call for proposal, the eligibility and guidelines for the application, as well as the letter of intent, some of the project deliverables that we are seeking to have developed, the timeline for this process, as well as some of the documents that you'll need to either, of course, develop and prepare the and submit the letter of intent or interest, as well as the full proposal if you're invited to do so. So you'll also find that there's some reference materials, budget, the application outline, as well as the outline for the letters of intent that's on our website. And you'll also be getting this recording, the PowerPoint, and any frequently asked questions that you asked today, so that everyone can be abreast of those questions. And then we'll let you know how to upload the letters of intent as well as the full proposal if you're requested to submit a full proposal. The Detroit Area Agency on Aging is collaborating with Michigan Public Health Institute, AARP Michigan, and other partners on our Inclusive Health Care Task Force to look at the social determinants of health so we can better incorporate those activities into our region. We were instrumental many years ago of working with Wayne State University to determine why we were losing older adult population from 1990 to 2000. And in trying to look at why we were losing our population prematurely, we worked with Wayne State on a study that looked at mentality of older adults in 2003. And that Dying Before Their Time report was updated in 2012 and then in 2020. Of course, this was prior to the COVID-19 pandemic that exacerbated health disparities among older adults in our targeted area. Given the fact that about 70 to 80% of the individual's wellness is tied to social determinants of health, we really felt that there are some things that we could put in place to address that issue. So some of the key deliverables that have come out of the planning process for the Inclusive Healthcare Task Force has included strategies that can help better integrate and coordinate community resources to improve health status and the well-being of all residents as they come of age, grow older, and retire. So some of the services and product lines that are highlighted in this call for proposal primarily is focused on older adults, persons with disabilities, and caregivers, but it also touches everyone within our community because we are trying to reach upstream and address the young adults, middle age, people who are pre-retirement, and those who are retired. And so we hope to develop these uh, 4 key deliverables by the end of September. This particular initiative, which is supported by the Michigan Health Endowment Fund, ends in December 2024. So as you note, there were 2 phases in this initiative. The first phase is when we got together with public and private partners and developed the community action plan and a implementation toolkit. And then we sought additional funding and were able to move into an implementation phase, which includes implementing the community action plan. As I noted earlier, the community action plan is focusing on how we can reduce health disparities and premature death that's documented in our award-winning Dying Before Their Time reports. Now, just want to talk about the purpose of the letters of intent and the call for proposal. As I indicated earlier, there will be 2 rounds. Round 1 is going to be individuals or organizations submitting a letter of intent. And then round 2 will entail a full proposal being submitted by those who are invited to submit a full proposal. So it's a 2-pronged process. This call for proposal is designed to identify up to 4 applicants who can foster the development and implementation of these key deliverables. And they include a mobile app that needs to be developed that will help users to navigate community resources in our community so that they can better maintain their health. And this is supposed to be suitable for iPhones or Android devices. We also want to develop a retirement planning toolkit, which will basically produce a graphically designed, printed, and electronic publication that promotes and guides aging in place across the lifespan before and after retirement, with some seminars or videos that can supplement the toolkit. The third deliverable that we would like to have developed includes developing a senior-directed program that can be broadcast or online that can distribute information to the community about community resources for older adults and caregivers, and also talk about issues that are impacting older adults. That can be on cable TV, YouTube, Zoom platform, or other things that are proposed. The fourth deliverable that we seek to develop is pop-up and on-site technology training. This particular initiative involves developing curriculum that is suitable for technology training, and then providing in-person virtual training for older adults, with an emphasis on in-person training, given the fact that we're coming out of the pandemic. But we really feel that we need a hybrid model that can do both. Some of the key dates that you should be aware of is the fact that you'll need to access the Citrix share file, and we will share with you how to do that during this session. For those who are submitting a letter of intent, you need to do this by February 1st. And then the letter of intent for round 1 is due on February 2nd, which is a Thursday, not a Friday. And then you also have to submit a full proposal if invited to do so. You should find out that around the 6th of February. And then that full proposal is due February 29th by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Then there'll be a review process taking place. It'll go to our grant review committee, our board, and then everyone should know whether or not they have been funded by the last week in March. Then we'll be engaged in developing independent contracts with the finalists so that contracts can be in place by April 1st. And these are 6-month one-time contracts that would be provided to the finalists. If you want to know about funding, just wanted to share that the funding for this initiative is made possible by the Michigan Health Endowment Fund. The funding for the project deliverables that I just described differ based upon the availability of funding, and that this one-time funding is support planning, development, and implementation of the deliverable, so that is forward-facing by fall of 2024. We're asking for a 10% local match, cash or in kind, but that's optional, but it definitely sweetens the pot. There's also a need for a strong sustainability plan that outlines how the project services will be maintained after the planning and initial implementation period. And this is very critical because we want the activities to be sustained. So applicants need to be creative about that. You know, are there existing programs that could support the continuation of the program? Can volunteers be utilized? Are there other resources that can be tapped into? So we really are looking for that strong sustainability plan. And then the next thing is that with the technology training in particular, we want some training to be initiated in the first 3 months of the grant period, but we want some new curriculum developed that meets the needs of the community that we're serving. Now, in terms of the funding levels for the 4 deliverables, for the mobile app development and maintenance, that can end up being anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 on average. And this includes looking out over a 3-year period, trying to make sure that this app can be supported and refreshed with community resource information. So to keep that in mind, with the retirement planning toolkit, you can apply for up to $25,000, and that excludes the final graphic design, printing, and material costs. So it's really pulling together that retirement planning toolkit, organizing it, making sure the materials are meaningful to people who are going to be using that toolkit. With the senior programming, there's up to $25,000 available, and that excludes production and material costs, unless you can make the case for that being sufficient. And then with the pop-up on-site technology training and curriculum development, there's up to $25,000 available. And we will be supporting the technology that you have in place to support that training. Now, some of the key applicant eligibility requirements are noted in front of you. And during the acceptance of the letters of intent, we'll be closely scrutinizing this to make sure that applicants meet the base requirements or the pre-screening requirements. We want the applicants to be for-profit and nonprofit organizations, or they could be an independent contractor who's an LLC. They should be in business at least 3 years and be in good standing, which means that they're fiscally sound, they've paid their taxes, they can pass background check through the Inspector General's office as well as ICHAT, and that they carry insurance to protect their organization as well as Detroit Area Agency on Aging. We also want the applicants to agree that they will sign the independent contract, which will include the agreement, the scope of work, the budget, the conflict of interest, business associate agreement, and other documents needed. We wanted to also note that our grant review and technical review team will be looking at samples of work and references. So make sure that you provide those references and samples of work that are relevant to the program that you're offering to develop. The letters of intent are due by February 2nd, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that has to be uploaded through the shared file, and Aquanetta will share how to do that. We really want people to make sure they ask for access to that Citrix file at least the day before, by 5 p.m. business hours. And then the full proposal, which will be submitted by invitation only, is due February 29th. And that also has to be uploaded through the Citrix shared file. And we would like you to secure access to the folder by the 28th of the month, 5 p.m. Now, preference will be given to applicants who, or applications that have the program designs that are creative, cutting edge, and improve access to care for the targeted populations that experience health inequities in our service area. That's the city of Detroit, the 5 Grosse Pointes, Hamtramck, Harper Woods, and Highland Park. All the applicants must demonstrate a track record of developing similar product lines or services. And as indicated before, share references and samples. Final candidates must also be ready to go before a proposal or technical review panel, particularly the mobile app group that we select. And we also want to make sure that everyone understands that the deliverables that are produced under this Inclusive Healthcare Initiative is a sole property of the Detroit Area Agency on Aging. Now, as I indicated earlier, our target population is older adults, but we also want to make sure that we're serving adults with disabilities, many of whom are in that 50+ age group, and also family caregivers. But we understand that the tools that we're developing, particularly the retirement planning toolkit, the mobile app, as well as some of the programming, whether it's broadcast through cable TV or online, will benefit the entire community in intergenerational groups and other residents throughout the lifespan, and also volunteers. But our target population includes older adults and adults with disabilities and caregivers. Southeastern Michigan is our focal point, or our focal area. And I noted there all the communities that are within GWA's service area. Now, successful grantees will be selected based upon their credentials, their organizational capacity to carry out the development of those deliverables, and the potential to develop products and services that are innovative, transformative, sustainable, replicable, as well as adaptable. And when you look at replicability, we want to make sure that the information that you develop is deliverable, is and disseminated, can be used across multiple platforms and mediums, as well as, developed in other communities locally, statewide, and nationally. When we talk about adaptability, we want the applicants to listen to the voices of the community as they develop the curriculum or the toolkit or the app or the programming, so that you're taking into account the focus groups input that we've secured through Wayne State University. You're listening to the inclusive healthcare subcommittees, that have been working over a number of months, identifying issues that need to be addressed to make things more coordinated and integrated within our community. And that you also build in ways during your planning process to further get input from the community. So those are the things we talk about or think about when we think about replicability and adaptability. Now, in terms of innovation, we're looking at making sure it is modern, that you're using modernized state-of-the-art program design and that is user-friendly, and that you make sure that the system, that you promote system change or change within the target population, and that the program is sustainable. And so we want you to look at using new and not old techniques, that your program design is going to promote system change, make sure that people are able to access those social terms of health, and that you can really have an impact on people being able to retire more easily or embrace technology past fears that they may have, so they can use the technology and access internet effectively, or use their smartphones, for example. And then, as I noted earlier, sustainability is key because we want to make sure that your program design builds on the community resources and attributes and strengths, but also utilize volunteers and other communities, and not rely totally on funding, because we wanted these initiatives to be embedded within our community. Okay, in terms of the round one letters of intent submission, the key things that you need to put in your 4-page letter that has to be 12-point type, at least, on your company letterhead is, that your organization's been in business for at least 3 years, is incorporated, that you're financially viable, you've been audited, you have a balanced financial statement, that you have paid your taxes, or you have a payment plan in place with IRS, that you're maintaining insurances, that you're willing to sign off on the business associate agreement, the conflict of interest agreement, the background screening that is required, because we're a accredited organization by NCQA, CARF, and so we have to make sure that all the organizations we work with are screened. And then you should also make sure that you note the budget amount that you're applying for, given the requirement, and if you're providing any kind of cash or local match. Remember, in-kind match could be staff, volunteers, use of your facility for training, or in-kind space in other locations in the community that has some cash value. Those kinds of things would be your in-kind match. As I indicated earlier, make sure that you stay within that 4-page limit, that you put it on company letterhead and it's for a 12-point type so we can read it. Make sure we have your full name and your contact information, what you're applying for, what your mission is and how that aligns with this inclusive healthcare initiative, what your organizational capabilities are in providing, developing the service and implementing those services, and what you've done in the past, briefly, the credentials of your staff, volunteers, or partners that you may be working with, and outline how you are meeting those baseline screenings that we shared earlier, the financial viability and the like. You should also note that the approach that you plan to use, generally what kind of work plan and timeline you're going to be implementing, how you're innovative, how your approach is innovative, transformative, can be replicated and sustained over time, and how you'll use the voice of the community to shape that deliverable. And then, of course, you have to submit that letter of intent through the Citrix secure shared file portal. It cannot be emailed, faxed, mailed, or dropped off at our organization. It must be uploaded into Citrix. And so you'll be doing that by requesting access to our contractmanagement.org email address, and then getting that information to us. Now I'm going to turn to the round 2 full application submission. Once we get the letters of intent in and review them, we'll select 3 to 5 potentially organizations who can submit full proposals. It depends on what kind of response we get. And in that full application, you'll utilize the guidelines in the call for proposal, which is on our website under events. It's also, you can go directly to the inclusive healthcare web page as well. So that application is there, along with some links to various forms that are required, or reference materials. So you review those materials. You'll prepare the application, which is about 10 to 12 pages. Now, those 10 to 12 pages doesn't include the scope of work, the work plan and timeline, the budget form, the budget justification, any sample that you want to share, and the letters of support, if any, if you're including partners or something. The one thing that we're asking, since we have a fairly short timeline or window, is that you at least attach an outline of a PowerPoint that you'll present if you're asked to do so before our grant review committee or the technical committee. This is particularly important for the mobile app applicants because of the technical expertise needed for that. Make sure that you've gotten that Citrix file, share file access, because you have to have it for your letter of intent. And then make sure you get the application in through the shared file system by February 29th, 11:59 p.m. We cannot accept late applications. Now, when you're submitting the full application, make sure that you note the service category that you are applying for in the proposal, and make sure your name is included of your organization. You also should include the program design approach that you'll be using to plan, develop, and implement the product or the services. The target population that you're going to be serving, what kind of outreach strategy you'll be using to reach that population. Make sure you note how your approach is innovative, transformative, sustainable, replicable, and adaptive to the needs of the community. And also describe your organizational capabilities and expertise. And if you're engaging partners or independent contractors, make sure that you note their capabilities as well. Now, with the work plan timeline, that's separate from your narrative. Make sure you have the goal, the objectives, the tasks to be performed, who's responsible for carrying out those tasks, and how you'll measure whether or not you're hitting the mark. And also note how many units and clients that you're going to be serving in an annualized fashion. So in a given year, how many people would you be able to reach um, over a 12-month period, though this is a 6-month development phase. The scope of work is something that's important too. Make sure that you outline the specifics that you will perform to carry out the project. And this scope of work and timeline will really become a part of the independent contract. So be aware of that. Also, make sure you complete the budget form and the budget justification for the expenditures that you're proposing to spend, and that you make sure that you put the number of participants and the units to be served in that work plan, but also in the budget, and they should align and tie together. And then make sure that you also outline in your proposal how you'll sustain the program over the next 3 years after the launch. And that ties into the importance of that sustainability plan. And then, of course, note any references, samples of your work, and letters of support if you're partnered with someone else. The budget is a very short. There's a summary page and a couple other pages. So review the budget template and instructions. Include a local match, cash or in kind, if that's applicable. Make sure that you calculate the clients and units on an annualized basis. And then prepare the detail pages that supplement that summary page, and then have the authorized official sign the budget summary page. Now I'm going to do a sort of a deep dive into what we're looking for each of those 4 deliverables. With the mobile app development, we're looking for a highly capable organization who can perform the essential functions needed to develop that app and to maintain it. We want them to use a platform for the mobile app that can use an application programming interface, API capabilities, so that the information, the community resource information that needs to go into this app that will help older adults and caregivers navigate the services in our community from DAA's call center, United Way, ARP, and other resources can be maintained and refreshed so that the information does not get old. We're able to switch it out and have up-to-date information. We also want to make sure that the app is interactive and includes some way to sort of assess the needs of the user when they sign into the app so that they can get the services that are close to them, whether it's community resources or programs or events information through keyword searches or through a mini assessment. The planning, development, and implementation should definitely include some beta testing so that you can make sure that the mobile app is working properly before it's launched and made available to the community. The mobile app also has to be supported by some type of help desk, and it has to be HIPAA, Privacy Act, and compliant, and also adhere to cybersecurity protections. In addition, we want this app to be functional and public facing by the fall of 2024. And we want you to outline how you're going to market the app to drive users to that technology. With some of the features that we're and capabilities that we're looking for in the mobile app include the fact that it is using state-of-the-art graphics, that it has simple and modern user experience, user interface design for Apple and Android devices, that it has a way for communication to take place, audio and video capabilities, GPS capabilities that's using simple language, large font for our target population, and that has logical step-by-step in-app navigation features, and that is user-friendly and has a navigation assistant tool built in. In addition, the capability of translating information in the app into other languages is important because we serve a fairly diverse population. And we also need the organization to be prepared to work with DAAA and other partners to make sure there's up-to-date community resource data extracted and imported into the app, that it has a mini assessment capability, that it is hosted with some linkages, that it hosts a calendar of events, or it has linkages to calendars and some way for people to be connected to others through social networks to reduce social isolation. And of course, it needs to be supported and maintained. And there may be other practical and other cutting edge features that can be built in as well. With the retirement planning toolkit, we're looking for a subject matter expert or company with proven experience in gathering relevant information for retirement planning toolkit or similar publications. The toolkit must have capability to be used electronically or in print format. And we also want to make sure that there's a way to utilize the information that's in the toolkit for seminars that can be pulled out of those topical areas, that it is that the finished product is has a logical outline, that that the individual or the company has researched the materials or retirement tips or information that the user needs to access, and that there's a way to make sure that is professionally edited, easy to read format, and that has to be signed off before publication. The applicant has to also work with DAAA and a graphic designer, and to make sure that retirement information can be accessed in a variety of different ways, through seminars, through the actual retirement planning toolkit or guide, through electronic means on site, online. So we want it to be multifaceted publication and tool. Some of the topical areas that the applicant may want to look at, and this is not an exhaustive list, includes, housing, job and retirement income, benefit access, financial planning for retirement, private investments and pensions, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security issues, encore careers, volunteerism, caregiving, healthcare considerations, legal guardianship, advanced directives. Those kinds of topical areas need to be included or addressed in the retirement planning toolkit. Now I move to the senior directed broadcast or online programming. This is an area where we're looking for the applicant to provide some creative suggestions about the way we can move forward to get information about community resources that older adults need, or issues that are impacting older adults and caregivers. So we're seeking a public relations, marketing, communications firm or an independent contractor who can plan, develop, and implement this senior directed programming um, that speaks to this targeted population. It can include cable TV, radio, podcasts, blogging, YouTube, Facebook, Zoom programming. We're open to what can be submitted. But the main thing that we want is to ensure that this applicant has skills in researching topics that are important to our target population, that they have technical writing skills, they have some background or access to television, radio, production, casting, and directing experience. They can manage projects, handle inquiries, and problem solving. They have some existing relationships with traditional and social media, that they can do some planning over the 3 to 6 month time frame, and that they have some references that they can share, a portfolio of work that we can look at. With the pop-up or on-site technology training, we're seeking a subject matter expert, instructor, company, who has proven experience in planning, developing, implementing technology training for older adults. They can include staff, independent contractors, and or trained volunteers in their model. But we want the training to take place it could be in a fixed location, but also we want activities to take place all over the community. And that could be in housing, senior housing complexes, in community locations, libraries, wellness centers, senior centers, a variety of different settings. It could also be virtual, but we're leaning toward in-person training because we know that's most effective with older adults. Some kind of training needs to be put in place and starting within 1 to 3 months. While there's some new curriculum development going on, we really want the training to introduce and or strengthen how older adults can use tablets, laptops, iPads, smartphones, both Android, iPhones, websites, social media platforms, mobile apps, and the whole 9 yards as it relates to technology. And this doesn't also include other in-home tools that people use. So we want the curriculum to be robust and enriching. The other thing to keep in mind is that we really want the applicant to have some technology curriculum development experience providing training and coordinating training through a variety of different means. And we want not only one time, one in, one out training, or say a one-time training, 6 weeks training or whatever. We want older adults to have access to some ongoing tech support through in person, online, or telephonic, because we know older adults oftentimes have fears or they may need ongoing support after that training. So we're looking for some type of ongoing support there. We want to be able to check your references to see what kind of track record you have in providing training and what your numbers look like. The other issue that I want to share is, some of the areas that you may want to look at could include, how to eradicate the fears of seniors, how seniors can shop for groceries and other things online, banking, how to access benefits, how to use social media, how to apply for jobs or volunteer opportunities. Those are just some of the ideas, but they're certainly not the least. Now, like Equinetta Jones to join you, and she'll walk through how to access the Citrix shared file system, which is a secure portal, so that you can upload your letter of intent, and then, if invited, your full proposal. And
Good,
after we
good
walk
morning.
after we walk through these activities, you will have an opportunity for a Q&A.
Good
Thank you.
morning, everyone. So in order to submit your requested documentation, the first step, if we could go back one slide, please. Yep, the first step is to ensure that you email the contract management email address, which is located here on the screen. So please take note of that email address, which is contractmgt@DAAA1A.org. So once you email that email address, please include your first and last name, the email address of everyone in your organization who will need access to the file, the name of your organization, and also which service that you are applying for. So within 24 business hours, you will receive a response email from contract management stating that we received your request, and you will receive an email from ShareFile Centrix inviting you to the shared folder. So that's giving you access to the name of the folder. So we can go to the next slide, please. So for this step, what we did to enhance the process is when you email contract management, the person on the other end, which is a DAAA staff member, we create the profile for you, and we also create your organization's folder. So you don't have to do this step. We do this step for you to make it a little bit easier, and so that we can have some consistency in naming, okay? You could move. So once you get the invite to open the folder, so you click, it's going to be a hyperlink. So you click on the hyperlink and it'll take you directly to your organization's folder, which will be your organization's name that you put in the email request. Once you log in, once you see your folder, once you click, see your folder, if you notice, there's going to be a blue plus sign. That is how you upload the documents into your folder. So if you click on the blue plus sign, it's going to say upload. And then you can either drag the documents into the folder, or you can browse. If they're saved on your PC, you can go to where they're saved to and upload them from that location. Next slide, please. So for step 3, the company name is already created for you. We talked about upload or dragging an application, the requested documents into the folder. And if you could name the documents as it is. So for example, if it is the letter of intent that you're uploading to the folder, just put letter of intent. If it's whatever the specific document is, if you can just put that in a naming device, because it makes it easier when we're going through reviewing the documents in the folder, if we can see the actual names. Because sometimes if you upload something, it may say image 1 or image 2 or image 3. We won't know exactly what those documents are. And so just for clarity and consistency, if you can just name the document or the requested material exactly what it is, that would be most helpful to the DAAA team. It's additional information for you. You may delete documents, but not folders. If applying for more than one service, create a folder for your business. And that's why we ask when you send that initial email to contract management, if you let us know what services you're applying for, we can create 2 folders for you, so it's not confusing by dumping everything into one folder. So the more information that you give us about your organization, the people in your organization, and the service that you're applying for, it's better, because we can help create those folders to help organize the documents for you. Do we have any questions about accessing the share file? No questions? Okay. Well, I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Equinetta. Now, I just want to share very briefly the scoring that the review team will be using. So it'll sort of give you a sense of, provide you sort of with a checklist of what you should make sure you include, but also you'll see where the weight is. So for screening criteria, those baseline criteria, that will receive 20 points depending on what you have included in your letter of interest. The organizational capacity is 20 points. Your program design is a whopping 40 points. So that needs to be a strong emphasis. And then, the budget information and your justification for what you are applying for in terms of the funding level is 20 points. So that's for the scoring for the criteria for the round one letter of interest. If you're invited to apply for the full, submit the full proposal for whatever service category you're applying for, and you can apply for more than one category. But again, you have to submit 2 different proposals, 2 different letters of intent. You can see that the program design, again, has a lot of points associated with it. So make sure that you keep that in mind as you develop your proposal, and that you include the things that will be necessary to fast track your proposal into an independent contract for startup April 1. Again, I'm just going to reiterate the screening criteria and sort of the proof that we're looking for. You'll need to make sure that you're a nonprofit agency, a for-profit agency, or an independent contractor with an LLC that's been in business for at least 3 years. So you should have proof of incorporation. In terms of being financially viable, you need to have a financial report that has a balance sheet, positive fund balance, or retained earnings, or you can also show that you've been audited in the last year. In terms of your taxes, make sure that you provide a 990 or 1190 or a written IR payment plan. If you maybe are behind your tax, but you have a plan to pay IRS that's been approved. With insurances, you have to maintain certain level of insurances, and there's a document in the on the website with this call for proposal that outlines what we're looking for in terms of insurance levels. And you have to hold DAAA harmless. We also will be screening to make sure an applicant who is a finalist is not debarred by the Office of Inspector General. And so there's screening that goes along with that. And there's some information that we'll need to request of you to do that eye check background in the screening. We also screen for background checks, sex offenders, and that this includes the organization and any independent contractors that you're using. There's a contract of interest agreement form that you'll have to sign off on if funded, and also a business associate agreement, which supports HIPAA compliance. So now, we'll have a Q&A today, so please note any questions that you have in the chat, and you can also note your name and organization, and you can ask a question verbally as well. But after today's session, we will be posting the questions that are asked today on our website along with others. We'll post the PowerPoint presentation and also the recording from this session so that you'll have a reference. In addition, if there are individuals who weren't able to make this technical assistance workshop today, you'll also they'll also be able to review these materials. Now, if you have a question, you should not give us a call. You should use contract management at daa1a.org, which is on the screen at this time. You can ask a question during the letters of intent phase or the full proposal phase, but make sure that you submit your question and put inclusive healthcare in the subject matter. So we'll be able to go directly to questions of us for this particular call for proposal. And we will add your question to the frequently asked questions and get your responses to everyone. We want to be fair so that if you have a question, we want to make this response available to everyone who is applying. And we'll do that within 24 hours during the business week. In addition, remember that it's important that you submit your questions, not only your questions through contract management at daa1a.org, but also if you have any issues going on, just contact us that way. And if you want to have access to the Citric share file, so that you can upload your letter of intent or the full proposal, make sure that you ask for access through the contract management at daa1a.org and put inclusive healthcare. I will put in parentheses access to share file, or I'll put inclusive healthcare questions. And then we'll be able to quickly go to those, respond as quickly as possible, and get back with you. Some of the reference materials that you'll find on the DAAA website under the events area on our homepage or on our Inclusive Healthcare Task Force page, the events announcement will take you to the Inclusive Healthcare call for proposal. That's where it's housed. We have the full instructions for round 1 and round 2. We have the application form for both the letter of intent as well as the full application. We have the budget form, business associate agreement, the conflict of interest agreement, which we have to switch out. So we'll make sure that you have that conflict of interest agreement. There's also the Inclusive Healthcare Community Action Plan and the Inclusive Healthcare Planning and Implementation Toolkit. And there you'll get more background information about what we're trying to do, how the deliverables evolved that are presented and featured in the call for proposal. There's also a document that you can reference about how to access the Citric shared file system that Equinetta shared today. And if anyone needs a demonstration, now is the time. She can actually walk you through it if you want a demonstration of how to upload something in that Citric shared file. You can also look at the Inclusive Healthcare Task Force page, and there are videos from our launch and other materials around social determinants of health there. And as I indicated earlier, we'll be including the technical assistance workshop, PowerPoint, the recording, and frequently asked questions. So now I think we're about to go to the Q&A phase. Ryan, do you want to share the questions, and then we'll ask any other questions that people want to ask verbally?
Yes. So to start off with, we have a comment from Satrice, from St. Pat's, wanting to go over the last slide, number 5 on the last slide. She was asking if there was a part of it missing, just for some clarification. If you could go back a couple.
Uh,
Yeah, number 5 here.
oh, you're talking about at the bottom.
Hmm.
Uh, is there a way for you to scroll down a little? Uh,
No, I think that's.
Rhetoric. This is
Satrice asks,
screening.
is there
Yeah.
something missing from the last part of number 5 on the previous slide, where it ends willingness on number 5?
No, it ends at 8. So number 8 says willingness to sign business social agreement to maintain HIPAA compliance.
She's asking about number 5. If that one is,
5,
mhm,
5.
if that one's all good.
Okay. So what we'll be looking for is the debarment. Um, so basically there, we're going to be looking, when we do the screening for the debarment, there we will be looking at if any of your client your staff who are engaged in the project will have been debarred. So there's a federal and state process. So if when we get to the full application process, we'll make sure that you are aware of what you need to do. But it will be for the finalists to submit those documents.
Another comment came from Krishara Allen from Empower My Future. Can you please reference the slide where you spoke about ownership of materials, looking for clarification?
Okay, if an applicant is using curriculum that they've developed, that they own that. But if there's curriculum for technology training that's developed under this grant, then DAAA would own that curriculum. This particular um, issue is very much especially tied to the mobile app. It's speaking to the mobile app and the retirement planning toolkit. But if there's curriculum developed, we probably can work through an opportunity for the vendor to be able to continue to use that curriculum, but it will be owned by Detroit Area Agency on Aging. Does that answer your question?
Mostly. I'm asking because we have taught those same technology classes that you mentioned, and we have multiple curriculums already developed. So that's
So,
all.
so if you have already developed the curriculum, that's yours. You own that. But if there's new curriculum developed for our targeted population, DAAA owns it, and we can probably work out an arrangement where it can be used by other organizations. That's something we want to do. We want to make sure that there's a curriculum that can be used to help older adults learn how to use technology, but we also will own the curriculum that's developed under this particular project.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Yes, so another one came in. Will a separate LOI be required for each target area? And are organizations allowed to apply for more than one award?
Okay, I'll take the first part of the second question first. You can apply for more than one project area, but you have to submit 2 different letters of intent and 2 different proposals with budgets. What is the first part of that question, Ryan?
Will a separate LOI be required for each target area?
Well, no, not for each target area. Um, when we are you is the person asking the question speaking of project area? Because there are 4 project areas: mobile app development, retirement planning toolkit, the pop-up and on-site technology training, and the senior directed broadcast or online programming. So those are the project areas. So say, for example, if you decide that you're going to seek funding for developing the retirement planning toolkit and also the technology training, you would have to submit 2 letters of intent, one for the pop-up technology training and one for the retirement planning toolkit. If you're asked to, after the screening process for the letters of intent, you may be asked to apply for both or one of the project areas if you get to the second round. So if you make the second round for both, you would submit 2 full proposals with budgets and other materials. If you only got to round 2 with one of those project areas, then you would submit a project proposal just for that particular project.
The next question that appeared in chat is from Jean Johnson. Will there be a list of those materials that are already created under the DAAA so that there are no blurred lines of creativity?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. Will there be a list of those materials that are already created under DAAA so that there are no blurred lines of creativity?
Okay, if you go to the DAAA website, that's DetroitSeniorSolution.org. On our homepage under events, you click on that and the call for proposal will come up. And when you click on the call for proposal button, it'll take you to the full call for proposal, which outlines both how you do the letter of intent as well as the full application. There you will find links to where the application outline. For the full application, you'll see what needs to be included in the letter of interest or letter of intent for your particular project that you're applying for. There are instructions or outlines of what needs to be included. The budget forms are also there, budget instructions. There's also instructions about how to access the shared Citrix shared file and other reference materials. So that's where those materials are. Would it be helpful for us to walk through that? I'm asking the individual who asked that question. We can go to the website. Okay. Ryan or Ryan, can you go to the website and show people how to access those materials?
Yes, I can.
Any other questions while we're doing that? We want to make this as helpful as possible. Okay, now Ryan is on the Detroit Area Agency on Aging website. and he's going to go to events first. Okay, do you see there's, if you, I think, okay, go to the box which is called for proposals. That other thing is just advertising the technical assistant workshop. So if you click on that call for proposal button, it takes you to this announcement. You keep on going down. And then go to the okay, you see read more to the up to the, that's about the session that we're having now. And then go to inclusive healthcare task force. Okay, do you see where that is? That's where you'll see, if you scroll down, keep on going down, that's the information. These are the links that you'll need to go to. And the call for proposal announcement instructions is there for round 1 and round 2. You also have the letter of intent outline, so you know what to put in that letter on of intent for your on your company letterhead, the 4-pager with 12-point type. Round 2, there's an application outline for that. You want to click on the just the round 2. So you can see it'll tell you what needs to be included for, so you'll use this template to outline what needs to be in the proposal. And it notes that as you develop this full proposal, the work plan, you can describe what's in the work plan, what's in the scope of work, what's in the budget 6, 7, and 8 in your 10, 12-page document. However, you can have a separate document that outlines what your work plan looks like. That also outlines the scope of work that you want to be committed to implement under a contract. And then there's separate budget and budget form that you can complete, and also develop a budget justification document that outlines what the expenses will be used for. If you go back one, you'll go back to the page. So those are where the documents are. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, further down, there are some reference materials I talked about. If you keep going. So you see where the Inclusive Healthcare Task Force page is information about the task force and all of that, the dime before their time report and things like that. But if you go further up, Ryan, I just wanted them to see the reference materials. Keep on going. Okay, up, up, up. Okay, reference materials. The Inclusive Healthcare Planning and Implementation Toolkit and the Community Action Plan are materials right there. The conflict of interest and the business associate agreement do not have to be signed, but we have them there just for you to review, so you sort of know what you're getting used to. Any other questions? We have about 5 more minutes. Does anyone want a demonstration of how to get on the Citrix share file? Equinetta, do you want to do a demonstration? Or does everyone understand how to access the shared file? Seems like we don't have any takers. So I think your explanation for the for getting on the Citrix shared file is understandable, Equinetta. Any other questions? I do want to emphasize what Equinetta shared, that it's important for you to, when you go to contractmanagement.org email, put inclusive healthcare access to shared file in the subject area, or inclusive healthcare question. That'll be helpful so that we can quickly respond to what you need. Please feel free to share this opportunity with other partners who may be of interest. Thank you so much for being available. And thank you for your interest. And we wish all of you good luck as you submit letters of intent, and hopefully have an opportunity to submit a full proposal, which will be due on February 29th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And again, the letter of intent is due February 2nd by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Thank you so much. Have a great day.